Welcome back to the show. Did we just get a tip that the real USD is about to launch? Oh my goodness, somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show and happy Thanksgiving to anyone who celebrates. You can follow us on YouTube, digperspectives.com, and Twitter. I'm pointing at the wrong things while I'm saying the wrong things. Isn't this something? $3.47 trillion market cap. The market is up 1%. Bitcoin 95,600 plus and Ethereum 3,600 plus. 133 billion plus market cap for USD Tether. But I got some news for you on that today. XRP at the number 6 spot's $1.47. We're up 3.5 into 24. We're up 31.7 on the 7-day. Hello, come on in. Let's look at the range of price. Ranging between 141 and 151. So the range has come up a little bit, but that is a very wide range for XRP. We typically range between 1 cent or less, right? So this is really huge that XRP's out here jogging around like this. So head on a swivel over this holiday and take a look at this. Link to private equity, baby. Let me tell you, this has got opportunities just galore. Whether you're looking to be in AI, whether you're looking to be in fintech, whether you're looking to be in digital assets, they got it all. All you have to do is click the link below and get the opportunity of a lifetime to invest the way the wealthiest 1% of the world does. It's in private equity, and they have the most affordable minimums of anyone in the industry. This is the best company in private equity. Click the link below and get started today. It takes less than 5 minutes to set up, register, and fund your account. That's how quick and smooth they've made it. Don't mess around. This stuff does not last long, and some of this stuff, once it's gone, you can't get it back. So make sure you get on that platform and take advantage of that opportunity, because you're also going to see them at XRP Las Vegas, baby. You better believe it. May 30th, May 31st, the largest XRP conference in the world, ladies and gentlemen. Don't miss it. We've got people coming on. I'm telling you, listen. If you're somebody who says, well, I went last year, not 1 year will repeat. I don't allow it. I'm telling you, we add new things every year that you've never seen. And let me tell you, a lot of people think, I even heard somebody say, oh, well, the price is going up. So let me tell you, the things that we're discussing at this conference is the next wave of innovation and Web3 on the XRP ledger. That's what we're talking about. The opportunities are endless. They're not over. We're not at the end of a road. We're at the birth of the next layer of Web3. And we're going to be tackling that on stage at XRP Las Vegas. Trust me, we learned so much at XRP Las Vegas 24. This entire year has not been a surprise to any of us. No question about it. Take a look at this. The governments of US, China, and the UK collectively hold 463,109 Bitcoin worth $43.2 billion, representing 2.34% of Bitcoin's current supply. So obviously you can extrapolate that number and say if they pass a strategic reserve bill or stockpile bill that the U.S. starts gathering it up to the tune of 1 million Bitcoin over the next 20 years, well, think of it for a moment. The other countries are going to have to accumulate even more also. And what's that going to do? That's going to put upward pressure on the price, right? Because it's going to put such a demand on the supply. I mean, this is just a remarkable moment. We're in here. And it does seem likely that they are going to push through for that. And I would imagine you'll see other digital assets used as a reserve too. And wouldn't this be the natural order of growing to a digital basket of sovereign tokens and digital assets alike? I mean, this just makes sense to me. And I tell you, if they put those reserves on the XRP ledger, it's exactly as I believed it to be back in 2017 before I was even in the YouTube land. This is U.S. Republican Mike Flood today breaking down Gary Gensler has set America back 20 years. There's no question about it.
I love what you're saying because you're making the rules clear. And I think the clarity end of this was one of the issues for this market to really be believed, because people weren't sure who was running it, who was overseeing it, and what the rules were. And that was because the Biden administration just threw lots of climate change agenda rules at every single agency. Isn't that right? And, you know, corporations had to follow all of those new regulations.
Well, they were busy with the with the environmental stuff, and
Right.
then this idea with digital assets that we're going to use enforcement actions. You don't even know what the law is, right? There's really nothing on some of these subjects, and suddenly you've got an SEC investigation shutting down markets. Gary Gensler set America back 20 years. We are nowhere near where we need to be in terms of the digital asset economy with stable coins, and it really, thank God President Trump is here, it's really going to unlock a new era for America and in fintech.
And I know you want to be number one ahead of China. China also wants that role. Do you want to say anything about China and pushing back on some of the passage of a legislation to exclude U.S. sanctioned companies, Chinese companies, and their subsidiaries from having access to our capital markets? You've got plenty of Chinese stocks still trading on our exchanges, that some of which were sanctioned.
Absolutely. You know, when President Xi wakes up every single morning, his goal is to become the world's sole superpower by 2050. They want to destroy the American economy. I really believe that China is our biggest threat from a national security perspective. They want to get in bed with other countries. They want to get in bed with other communist regimes. It's time for America to lead here in digital assets. Otherwise, to your point, the Chinese will be the world's reserve currency on continents like Africa and emerging markets, and that's not in our interest.
Oh, that's absolutely right. They are already trying that in Africa. Congressman, it's great to see you.
This is exactly what we talked about on stage with the Honorable Cristiano Carlo. About the fear and the concern, the serious concern that China would white label their digital yuan to other countries. To the exact point on stage. So I'm telling you, you should get your ticket and come to XRP Las Vegas. This is the kind of conversations we're having before it dawns on Congress. This is real, ladies and gentlemen. Now, people have made fun and they poke fun because they've had the luxury of this crypto winter to do so, but this is not an old narrative. In fact, it's more relevant than ever. And I hope that you're watching closely, because this is what this digital space has always been about. Just like Reserve Bank of India confirms the use of Ripple's XRP ledger for digital rupee. And we know we have a huge presence and connection inside of India. This here says India's central bank, Reserve Bank of India, RBI, has confirmed the use of Ripple's XRP ledger for its digital rupee. This is what we need to see more of. And I just played you the clip the other day where the gentleman's telling you that Ripple's working with more than 50 to 60 central banks. Think of it. This is where we're going. And we need to win the war, and we need in the monetary war, we need to win it, because we need to make sure that China's now out here white labeling their surveillance currency and unleashing that to the rest of the world. No. Meanwhile, President-elect Trump's team interviews pro-crypto Paul Atkins to replace Gary Gensler as SEC chair. It would be night and day. I've heard Paul Atkins. I've covered him here on the channel. He has an excellent knowledge on the crypto space and the technology itself. I do not believe he would be a repeat of Gary Gensler or Jay Clayton. I believe he would do a great job, and I think he would work very hard to restore the integrity back into the building SEC. Eleanor Tarrant reports here something Gasparino and I have been reporting for at least 2 weeks, that the former SEC Commissioner Paul Atkins is being considered to succeed Gary Gensler. While nothing is final until we hear it from the real Donald Trump, President Trump himself, Atkins is certainly the current favorite among people at Mar-a-Lago who have Trump's ear, we hear. Atkins' biggest appeal is that he possesses a deep understanding of the inner workings of the agency as both a former commissioner under President George Bush and George W. Bush, and a staffer under two prior SEC chairs, Breeden and Levitt. He's pro-crypto, but perhaps more importantly, he's got policy chops in other areas of the $100 trillion securities market. the SEC has oversight of. He is seen as being capable of establishing a pro-innovation agenda while returning the agency to the so-called gold standard and many Republican Party feel was lost under Gensler. I think the world feels it now. Now that most of Trump's cabinet picks have been announced, the transition team is turning its attention to filling the federal agency positions, but unclear when exactly those announcements would come any day now. So we're hanging on for that. Here's more information about Paul Atkins, because we don't need another Gary Gensler. Shout out to Cowboy for this. You got to give this guy a follow. Paul Atkins, ex-SEC commissioner here, is also a part of, co-chair of the Token Alliance with James Newsom, who is ex-CFTC. So see, he's already hip to this game. He knows what this space is all about. I've heard him speak very eloquently about this space, and he believes that they're commodities in large part. So it'll be great to see him do it. John Deaton chimes in on Paul Atkins. We're going to move on in a second, but you need to know this. We can't afford another Gary Gensler. Paul Atkins is great, and I certainly welcome and support him if selected. He's light years ahead of Gary Gensler, who's without question the worst SEC chair in modern history. I prefer the incoming chair to do the SEC what Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy plan on doing to Doge. I hope those who had President Trump's ear, like J.D. Vance, Howard Lutnick, and Mark Andreessen, and Donald Trump Jr. and others, share my desire in that. Whoever's the chair, he or she goes into the SEC with a blowtorch and chainsaw and fires anyone who participated in the gross overreach and misconduct during the last 4 years. If the new chair doesn't cause people to be fired, then he or she isn't outraged enough to be the new chair. I think that's an excellent point. Let's be clear, SEC lawyers didn't just target crypto, bully small businesses and startups, and engage in regulation by enforcement. They acted unethically and engaged in misconduct. They deserve to lose their job and possibly be investigated by the Inspector General. Whether it's Brad Bondi, Brian Brooks, Paul Atkins, let's hope they reach each a similar sentiment. Brad Bondi does. His sister Pam Bondi is already bringing the same attitude to the DOJ. We need it at the SEC as well, and I suspect Brian Brooks does, and I hope Atkins does as well. Whoever gets the job, I hope she or he immediately makes a statement expressing his or her intent of shaking things up at the SEC. No question about it. Great. Well said, John Deaton. And boy, CZ Binance is watching things around here. You know, like the SEC will drop the Ripple case. Let's hear it again from Chris Giancarlo. Possibly the new crypto czar.
There's a huge case in front of the federal courts right now brought by the SEC. It's the Ripple XRP case that Ripple violated essentially securities laws by issuing XRP. It's deemed part of that issuance was deemed a security, part of it wasn't. SEC is appealing.
Yes.
There's a Trump SEC coming in. Are they going to drop the case, you think?
So, Charlie, as you know, I wrote a definitive law review article before that case was brought, arguing that XRP was not a security subject to the SEC. It turned out that the judge who ruled in that case sided with the view I'd expressed. Half of it.
Right.
I would recommend that it's time for regulatory agencies to drop a lot of these cases where they've lost at the trial court.
If you were a betting man, would they drop the XRP case?
I think they should. And
will they?
I would bet they would.
I know Chaz didn't appreciate that answer, but I think it's the right answer. Sorry, Chaz. According to the Maxis, no big deal. Breaking. Tether discontinues the Euros Tether stablecoin, citing unfavorable regulatory conditions in the EU. Now, USD Tether has been pushed out and claimed to be non-compliant or deemed to be non-compliant under MiCA European Union regulations. And now so is the discontinued EURT stablecoin. All right. Now that is a confirmation that Tether is being pushed out of the circle. You're no longer in the cool kids club, right? You're not compliant to the 27 nations inside the European Union. Not a good look, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what is the U.S. going to do with it? That's where we need to see the other shoe drop and find out whether it's going to be pushed out of the largest economy of the world next. I think it's likely. Sounds like testing is over and launch is imminent. Pretty much all the real USD was burned today. Shout out to Vec. Give him a follow. On each Ethereum and XRP ledger, there's only around 100K real USD left. Take a look at this number. Ripple's just made a bold move in crypto world, burning nearly all of its Ripple USD, the real USD tokens, in the beta from the beta test. In a single day, 46.67 million real USD tokens were permanently removed from circulation. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like they're getting ready to do this thing. But I want to remind you, Ripple met with the Fed twice in just the last 2 months. And then we learned that Ripple also went and met with the president last summer before he became president. I'll let you put that together. Then I got to give you the translation on this, but let's first hear Brad Garlinghouse say it. This is probably one of the most important clips you're ever going to hear from Brad Garlinghouse, I believe, in my opinion.
Ripple already was using stablecoins in our payment flows with our customers, and there was a time when we were that Ripple was minting 20% of all USDC, and so we felt like, look, it only makes sense. Obviously, there was a big event last spring in the United States, 18 months ago, where USDC depegged, and we felt like there was an opportunity for a credible player that's already working with lots of financial institutions to lean into that market. So
let's hear that again.
18 months ago, where USDC depegged, and we felt like there was an opportunity for a credible player that's already working with lots of financial institutions to lean into that market. So
why does he keep highlighting that USDC Circle lost the peg on USDC not too long ago, about 18 months ago? You know why? I'll tell you why I think it is. This is my opinion. Translation. We can back the real USD should it ever lose the peg with XRP. This is the ultimate goal, ladies and gentlemen, that everyone else who's lost faith has told us is an old narrative. It is not an old narrative. First, you have to prove out as a payment token with XRP, then grow into the role of underpinning the US dollar with XRP and not just the real USD stablecoin. That is the goal. Write it down. That's the goal, and that's exactly why I believe he's highlighting that. It is not to throw shade on Circle. It is to show that, hey, we have this asset, XRP. If the peg gets lost, we can guarantee it by covering it with we got XRP to back this. We're good, right? Well, that is the ultimate goal, to underpin the entire US dollar, not just a stable coin with XRP. And this is the first place you're hearing him say it.
18 months ago, where USDC depegged, and we felt like there was an opportunity for a credible player that's already working with lots of financial institutions to lean into that market. So
it's remarkable. Remarkable. Let it play.
Very close to launching that. And look, the last thing I'll say about this, Ripple has always, because we're in the payments business from our origins, we've always been a compliance-first company. We've always been we need to work with regulators. We need to make sure we have licensing in place. And we think there's an opportunity for another player in the stablecoin market to exist that focuses on institutions, focuses on a compliance-first point of view.
And they are working with the Federal Reserve. FedNow, Faster Payments Task Force. This is not speculation, this part. So it is important to watch very closely what happens from here. And don't forget about this. This is Jerome Powell from the Fed.
We're also, as you know, investing heavily right now in building a new settlement system for instant payments in the U.S. It'll be the first such major expansion of our core payment system since the 1970s. We found the case for this quite compelling for consumers, businesses, and just ensuring that all financial institutions have access to the payment system.
And what are they working on with the real USD? Making sure that it's really compliant and everything it needs to be to work with institutions, according to Brad, right? So and they just met with the Fed and the now president last summer. So, and we can't forget the XRP ledger is a super DEX, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, a superdex, a decentralized exchange also known as the World Exchange. And it can't be the World Exchange unless the world's plugged into it with all the things that are tokenized of value. That's how it goes, and that's the goal. I love where we're going, not financial advice from me or anyone else. I want to wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving with your family and friends, and we'll catch all of you on the next one.